to dump on the islands of the roads, they should be stocking their waste in the sacks, so that as the vehicle passes, then they can pick from them, other than going to dump on the island of roads. So sensitization is still going on, and we'll make sure that we deliver. Council is doing everything possible. Every day we collect from CBD. If you go 2 days without collecting, I can tell you there will be piles and piles and piles of garbage there. And so our appeal to people that are conducting business in CBD is that, one, they should subscribe to the franchise contractor who is operating in town.
However, Monday afternoon, collectors were on site to clean up.
As the saying goes, cleanliness is next to godliness. Remember, it is everyone's responsibility to keep the city clean. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, Health Minister Chitalo Chilufya is worried about the relaxation of COVID-19 health guidelines by members of the public. Addressing the media Monday morning on the country's COVID-19 status, Dr. Chilufya says Zambia has in the last 24 hours recorded 411 new COVID-19 cases, 4 deaths with 7 serious cases, an indication that people are not following the guidelines set to stop the spread of COVID-19. He says SARS-CoV-2 that was officially detected in Zambia spreads easily and has severe effects on the victims. Dr. Chilufya says there are very few people wearing masks, which is a clear indication that people are not complying with the set guidelines. He says most of the people testing positive of COVID-19 have a similar thread of attending spa events such as parties, bars and nightclubs. 398 people have so far died from COVID-19 since the disease broke out in Zambia in May 2020.
Let us ensure that all the congregate settings such as funerals, weddings and so on and so forth are within the stipulated measures. If we continue to see this rise in numbers and informed by poor adherence, the message from His Excellency is for us to brace for more drastic measures, because we need to put in more drastic measures to stop the transmission. Clearly, person-to-person transmission, community transmission is enhanced by person-to-person contact. And it is important that we observe the principle of reducing person-to-person contact. Even gatherings with minimal numbers that are approved by public health authorities must be for a shorter period of time, must be for fewer people, must be within the stipulated guidelines, and we must ensure enforcement, adherence to those measures that have been put in place. And I reiterate government's position that without the adherence to that, we will see an explosion in cases. We warned of a second wave months ago, and we did indicate that the spread, the establishment of that COVID-19 would actually be enhanced by poor adherence. And we are repeating today that shall we not improve on implementation, on observing these public health measures, we'll continue seeing an explosion in cases, increased number of deaths, increased intensity, and we'll be forced then to go into very drastic measures.
And Lusaka District Commissioner David Silubanje has maintained government's appeal for serious adherence to set health guidelines. Mr. Silubanje has warned that the failure to adhere to the set guidelines may result in the sharp upsurge of the virus, which he says may force the authorities to put stiffer measures such as a lockdown. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Silubanje says his office, working with the Lusaka City Council, has been begin disinfecting public places to reduce the spread of the virus. The district commissioner's directives come in the wake of the revelations that Zambia has recorded a new wave of COVID-19, with the country so far recording high numbers of positive COVID-19 cases on a daily basis.
It's now clear that the COVID second wave is with us, and people now should learn to take care of themselves. No, after all, we have a very clear guidelines from Ministry of Health that we should wash our hands, that we should mask up, we should keep the social distance, and avoid the unnecessary gatherings. We have seen the numbers which are now increasing, especially for Lusaka. We had a meeting with my committee last week, and we have agreed that we will continue sensitization through the council. We have also spoken to Ministry of Health. We are going to disinfect most of the areas, like the market. You have seen that the weekend we are doing with Counter Square. We are disinfecting the markets. I think this is what we are trying to do. But besides that, we need the community, we need us as a people to ensure that we adhere to the instructions. Because if you don't adhere to the instructions, well, we expect to have more problems, and to have more problems because the government will be forced to put very serious measures that will not allow you even to walk from your house to the market. And we don't want to do that because we still have more time to refrain from just going to the market. I have instructed all government buildings in Lusaka district, at least they must have a point where there is water.
President Edgar Lungu has announced that the Bank of Zambia has purchased 47 kilograms of gold from the Zambia Gold Company Limited under the Zambia Consolidated Copper Mines ZCCM Investments Holdings. President Lungu, in a statement on his Facebook page, says his government is determined to build the country's gold reserve, thereby creating wealth for the country. He highlights that his government's plans for the gold subsector under the Economic Recovery Program seeks to harness gold potential, expand it by encouraging more investment, organized trading, mining and processing, and formalization of small-scale and the artisanal sector. But commenting on the president's statement, Holopa Ziba has reminded the president that based on government's targets set for itself to procure 40,000 kilograms or 40 tons of gold last year, the statistics being given by the president himself represents a budget achievement of 0.0%. Mr. Ziba says this is a serious underperformance by President Edgar Lungu's government. Musanje Manjati, however, says a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And moving on in the news, the opposition United Party for National Development has advised the ruling Patriotic Front PF and its surrogates against attempts to divert Zambia's attention on who is truly behind the murder of the state prosecutor Nsama Chipioka and the UPND cadre Joseph Kaunda. The UPND says the PF and its surrogates have been issuing statements to the effect that the UPND should be held responsible for the murders of the party and did not heed to the Police and Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampiongo's directive to the party to keep its cadres at bay. Recently nominated Member of Parliament Raphael Nakachinda also added to the list of people accusing the UPND of being behind the murders. The UPND chairman for Commerce and Industry, Bernard Mpundu, says no Zambian can take Mr. Nakachinda seriously, saying what he is saying is only aimed at his personal survival and nothing else. Mr. Mpundu further advises Mr. Nakachinda to reflect on his way of life, especially how he attempted to destabilize the opposition MMD. Mr. Mpundu says Mr. Nakachinda is trying by all means to remain relevant, but time is fast approaching where the man will be rejected. And still in the news, the Zambia Association of Manufacturers, ZAM, has welcomed the ratification of the Continental African Free Trade Area by African countries. ZAM President Ezekiel Sekele has, however, called for safeguards in the observance of the ratified agreement. The ratification is just awaiting Parliament approval for Zambia to start trading in the regional bloc. The approved trade agreement, which covers a market consisting of 1.2 billion people and a combined GDP of 3 trillion United States dollars, comes into effect on the 1st of January 2020. And Mr. Sekele says the sector is ready to contribute to Zambia's successful participation in continental trade.
The agreement establishing the Continental Free Trade Area entered into force on 30th May 2019 for the 12 countries that had deposited instruments of ratification. According to Article 23 of the agreement, entry into force occurs 30 days after 22nd of the instrument of ratification is deposited, with the chairperson of the African Union Commission the designated depositary for this purpose. On the 29th of April 2019, the 22-country threshold was reached and the Sahrawi Republic deposited their instrument of ratification, paving way for the AFCFTA's entry into force. Since then, 5 countries have deposited their instrument of ratification and 32 countries have deposited their instruments of ratification. Zambia has also indicated approval for ratification, bringing the total number of ratification approved by the AU to 36. But what does this mean for Zambia? I spoke to Zambia Association of Manufacturers President Ezekiel Sekele.
As an association, we have welcomed this initiative, but like anyone else, we are aware that it's not something that you should just open the doors. And where we are crying now, we're complaining about some of the subsectors, for example, the textile, clothing, the leather subsector, among others, where challenges are abound. You cannot then open up and just worsen the situation. I think that it's going to be a cautious approach. However, when markets are opened up, when markets are widened, who benefits? Everyone benefits. So for us, we see this as a huge opportunity for manufacturers to be able to grow their capacity and export, grow their market, and extend this proud Zambian beyond the boundaries of our country.
And Mr. Sekele notes that he is, however, impressed that some small and medium enterprises have already started exploring the regional market.
The Africa Continental Free Trade Area brings huge opportunities for the local manufacturers to go there and export. Already some of our members talk about Java Foods, for example. They have done a test export market in Zimbabwe, and good signs are coming out. They're also thinking of, I think, Botswana to export some of their products. We have other manufacturers in Zambia who are moving, their goods across the borders up north in DRC, Congo. We have other manufacturers in Zambia who are, exporting into the Eastern Bloc, Tanzania, Burundi. So already some of our manufacturers have been exporting. So the oncoming of Africa Continental Free Trade Area, for some of our manufacturers, it's simply an extension and a push of that which has been existing.
Start of trade under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement commenced on the 31st of January 2020. Only time will tell if at all Zambia will benefit from the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
We take our first set of commercials. Do stay with us as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
Take control of your tax planning. Avoid penalties and interest. Returns and payments due by the 10th of the month for declarations of the previous month's transactions are pay as you earn and skills development levy. Returns and payments due by the 14th of the month are turnover tax, withholding tax, mineral royalty tax, tourism levy, gaming and baiting, presumptive tax. Returns and payments for all withholding VAT agents is the 16th of the month. Returns and payments for all VAT registered suppliers is the 18th of the month. Submit the returns and make payments on or before the respective due dates to avoid penalties on the late submission of returns and payments of taxes. Further, note that VAT tax invoices for all business-to-business and business-to-government transactions must bear the tip-in of the buyer without fail. Zambia Revenue Authority. My tax, your tax, our destiny.
Can I have that meal over there? And I really want that crisp, fresh apple taste from the garden. Can I have happy apple?
I think I'll have my big bite 2 meal with happy waziwaka. Give us your
enjoy an appetizing big bite meal with an happy drink of your choice. A meal is not a meal without an happy drink. And now introducing Happy in a can.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our Zesco units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, downlights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day, in a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television. For non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage, Zambia needs Camnet television. For national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia, watch Camnet TV on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on GOTV, and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. The Zambia National Union of Teachers, ZANUT, is opposed to government's idea of stopping teacher training as a way of dealing with the higher unemployment levels in the teaching fraternity. In an interview with Camnet TV, Union Director for Public Relations and International Affairs, Joe Kasaka, says government should instead work on the retirement age that has been raised from 55 to 65. He says the high unemployment levels among teachers is a result on non-retiring of teachers countrywide. Recently, Minister in charge of General Education, Dennis Wanchenga, told the nation that government is contemplating on putting a stop to teacher trainings for some time as a way of dealing with high unemployment in the sector. Over 55,000 trained teachers in Zambia remain unemployed. Here's a report.
In November 2014, the retirement age in Zambia was moved from 55 to 65 years under statutory instrument number 63, and in May 2015, the retirement age was revised to 60 years with options of 55 and 65 respectively as early and late retirement, while 60 is normal retirement age under statutory instrument number 24. While these changes were done in good faith by the people that coined the statutory instruments, its effects are negative, especially on the teaching fraternity. Late retirement age has been cited as one of the major reasons the country has high unemployment levels, with over 50,000 unemployed teachers countrywide waiting to be recruited by government. This matter is seemingly becoming a challenge for government to handle. After receiving so many complaints from the unemployed teachers, a government is now thinking of halting the teacher training in our schools. Minister in charge of General Education, Dennis Wanchinga, recently told the unemployed teachers who visited his office to complain about what they termed as corruption during the recruitment process that late retirement, among other factors, have made it difficult for government to employ teachers in the last 3 years.
We have a lot of colleges. Some of them just set up to make money, some of them, we appreciate some of what they are doing. But they have created a system which is not tenable in terms of the numbers of teachers who are coming out of these institutions and who cannot readily be absorbed. So this is a very serious challenge for the ministry. So I mentioned the issue of retirement age being a major factor. I am mentioning the issue of the so many teacher training colleges who just train regardless of whether those teachers are guaranteed any job.
And commenting on this matter, the Zambian National Union of Teachers is against this decision and hopes it does not come to pass, adding that it will have adverse effects on the learning outcomes of the pupils and the teachers as well.
The only thing that government should have done to ensure that we don't have this problem is to introduce what is known as early retirement, so that the teachers that have served, because right now in the system, we're even teachers that are beyond 60 years. Retirement age is 60, late retirement is 65. But why are they renewing contracts for people to go up to 65? Because when somebody has reached 60, it's better these people retire at 60 and go, so that there is a space for those other people that are finishing from colleges to come and take up. So what has caused this backlog of about 50,000 teachers roaming the streets is because for 5 years government never recruited. And for 5 years people never retired. They were still working because they extended the retirement age from 55 to 60. So it meant that those who would have gone at 55 had to stay for 5 years more. So because they stayed 5 years more, they took up the space for that one who would have come in to take up their spaces if they retired at 55.
Union Public Relations Manager Joe Kasaka has since called on government to come up with a deliberate policy that will allow in-service teachers to retire on voluntary basis. Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Zambia's ambassador to Ethiopia and permanent representative to the African Union, Emmanuel Mwamba, says the mission is pursuing economic benefits that are available for international organizations in the light of the negative economic effects caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. He says the international community has made available economic relief mechanisms to tackle and combat the negative effects caused by the pandemic on African economies. Ambassador Mwamba explains that in view of the side effects of the coronavirus, only China and Ethiopia are predicted to register positive economic growth due to the high exports. He says the mission is now pursuing support funds for the COVID-19 vaccines and stimulus packages that both the African Union and United Nations Economic Commission for Africa in Addis Ababa had arranged for member states. This is according to a statement made available to Camnet TV News by First Secretary for Press and Tourism at the Zambia Mission in Ethiopia, Ingutu Mpango Mwanza. And still in the news, a one-year-old baby has been left motherless after its mother died in a fatal road accident on the 2nd of January 2021. After the accident, the infant survived the accident while its mother could not. The accident happened on the Great East Road around 01:10 hours. The deceased woman was run over by a speeding vehicle being driven by a 40-year-old motorist identified as Sulawa Kayanda of Kawata Site and Service while carrying her baby on her back. Both the deceased woman and the surviving infant are yet to be identified, as police, through its spokesperson Esther Mwata Katongo, has appealed to the general public who could be missing a relative to visit Levi Mwanawasa General Hospital in Lusaka.
An unidentified female adult aged between 30 and 35 died, while her baby, aged about 1 year 8 months, survived in a fatal road traffic accident which occurred on 2nd of January 2021. The same accident happened at about 01:10 hours along Great East Road. The victim died upon arrival at Levi Mwanawasa Hospital, where she was rushed to, and the female infant is reported to have survived without visible injuries. However, it's still under medical observation at Levi Mwanawasa Hospital. The accident happened when the pedestrian was crossing the road from the direction of north to south, and in the process was hit by a motor vehicle, a Toyota Alex. The body is in Levi Mwanawasa Hospital mortuary awaiting post-mortem. We therefore appeal to members of the public to help identify the deceased person and also the surviving infant so that it can be reunited with the family.
Meanwhile, Ms. Katongo has announced that 28 people perished in various road accidents recorded during the New Year period. Ms. Katongo explains that a total of 225 road traffic accidents were recorded countrywide, out of which 22 were fatal, while 27 were serious road accidents in which 31 persons were seriously injured. Ms. Katongo says in comparison with the previous New Year holiday, a total number of 101 road traffic accidents were recorded, translating into an increase in RTAs by 124 accidents this year. She, however, says the increased movement of motorists to various destinations and disregard for road signs and regulations may be a contributing factor to the increase in road traffic accidents. Meanwhile, Ms. Katongo says about 591,000 kwacha was raised in admission of guilt fines by lawbreakers during the same period. Moving on in the news, Golden Party of Zambia President Jackson Tilavwe has charged that the Zambia Police Service is still an instrument of repression against citizens and political opponents. Mr. Tilavwe notes that the reshuffles done to the service by President Edgar Lungu are merely cosmetic if the service is not changed to meet the needs of the 21st century Zambian. GPZ has therefore proposed a total overhaul to ensure that the face of the men and women in uniform is changed and responds to the needs of the Zambian citizens, especially before the general elections in August 2021. Mr. Tilavwe has since proposed the creation of a separate constitutional premier investigation agency armed with sophisticated apparatus to assist the police in handling major workloads such as counter-terrorism, domestic intelligence, surveillance, economic sabotage, among other crimes. The opposition leader has also called for creation of an independent police detectorate to investigate corruption, malpractices, and general misconduct within the Zambia Police and to disband the Traffic Police Department under the Zambia Police.
Our reaction to the reshuffles of the president is that whilst the reshuffles are welcome, For us, we're saying we need to overhaul the entire Zambia Police Service. The current Zambia Police Service is a remnant of the colonial era. We have never undertaken proper reforms to meet the now needs of the Zambian people. If you look at the Zambia Police at the moment, it's still being used as a tool of repression. So in the 21st century, we need to get together and ensure that the Zambia Police is entirely overhauled. And for us, what we are saying, for example, is that we must focus the Zambia Police more in the communities. If you look at Zambia right now, we have experiencing the increase of quality of life crimes. Panhandling, prostitution, car theft pasts, they're on the rise, all because there's no presence of the police in the communities. We've got in Zambia unsolved murders. We've got the people who burned City Market. Up to now, the reports are inconclusive. What about the people that were doing the gassing? That is why for us we're saying we need to overhaul the Zambia Police. And for us, we've put across simple suggestions. Number one, we need to start reforms by appointing a committee to oversee those reforms. We are proposing that we should create a premier investigative agency within the Zambia Police that will be in charge of weighty matters. Apart from that, we're also saying that we need to disband, for example, the traffic department under the Zambia Police. RATSA should handle all traffic issues and ensure that the manforce that we free from there, the workforce that we free from there, should concentrate in the communities.
The Mukushi City Council says it has started closing all businesses in the district that have not yet renewed their business permits. Mukushi Public Relations Officer Clarence Kauma says the council will not be held accountable for any losses that the business owners will incur due to the closure of their businesses. Mr. Kauma has since urged all business owners to ensure that they renew their business levies and not wait on the council to pulse on their businesses.
Authority have continued with the renewing of all trading licenses and business levies. This exercise began on the 1st of October 2020 and has been running up until the 31st of December 2020. And as such, today is the 4th of January 2021, and so we as a local authority have moved in to ensure that all business premises that do not have trading licenses, that do not have all the necessary papers, are closed. And as such, we're urging all business entities to ensure that they have, among other things, the business levy, the fire certificate. Only then shall we open these particular business entities to be held accountable for any damages that will be incurred during this particular operation. As a local authority, we know that during this operation, when we close some certain business entities that do not comply, the goods may be damaged due to lack of operation. But then we will not be held accountable, and so we are just urging each and every business entity to see to it that they comply.
We take our second set of commercials. To stay with us as we have international and sports news. Don't go away.
Savenda Group of Companies would like to thank the Zambian people for their overwhelming support and trust throughout its 23 years of business, especially during the challenging year of 2020. You have been our true friends and partners on this journey of saving nations and developing Africa, our motherland, which is what Savenda stands for. As the Group CEO, on behalf of the board, management and staff of Savenda, I would therefore like to take this opportunity to wish His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, the President of the Republic of Zambia, the Zambian people, our esteemed customers and partners, a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Dr. Bigron, musayibala komutienda okuni gift na land. Uchitenkubeti uibise mojo basayone.
Mwinamushi, nakuletera njinga. Latest ina reverse gear na mawaipa.
Difficult ya shida njinga. Liam 19 pendef kondo. Transport, we got it.
Nanga phone for communication. Ipunzi sana chizungu. Yeah, you see what I mean?
It's a camera difficult.
It's communication. We got it. Inemomi! Powerful system ndimba X-Buzz.
Mfumile kukalale. Na mnaimo muli bakumushi. We got it. Yo big lord. Utola inoleta nchemfule mungani. Ngecho wachira pose na nshitachishi. 1, 2, 3. Both of you. Kabala ngempang. Don't be stupid. We got it.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
You know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
We all know how important good nutrition is to grow up big and strong. Not only is cowbell milk enriched with 28 vitamins and minerals, it's also boosted by the 5 most important vitamins, which we call Vita-Rich.
It's got vitamin A for good eyesight development. It's got vitamin C to help fight infections. It's got vitamin D and calcium to help build strong bones and teeth. It's got vitamin E to help with body protection. And it's got vitamin K for general well-being and immunity.
For good health and vitality, only cowbell with Vita-Rich puts you on the fast track.
2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day, in a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television for non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage. Zambia needs Camnet television for national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia. Watch Camnet TV on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on GOTV, and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, U.S. President Donald Trump has been recorded telling Georgia's top election official to find enough votes to overturn the election result. I just want to find 11,780 votes, Mr. Trump told Republican Secretary State Brad Raffensperger in a recording released by Washington Post. Mr. Raffensperger is heard replying that Georgia's results are correct. Joe Biden won Georgia alongside other wing states, winning 306 Electoral College votes to Mr. Trump's 232. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris called Mr. Trump's comments a bold abuse of power. All 50 states have certified the election results, some after recounts and legal appeals. Congress is due to formally approve the election result on the 6th of January, and Mr. Biden, a Democrat, is due to be inaugurated as president on the 20th of January. All 10 living former U.S. defense secretaries have urged President Trump not to question the election result in an opinion piece for the Washington Post. The group also said he should not involve the military in voting disputes.
A recording has been released of Donald Trump demanding that officials in Georgia find thousands of extra votes to overturn the result of the election.
The people of Georgia are angry, and these numbers are going to be repeated on Monday night, along with others that we're going to have by that time, which are much more substantial even. And the people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
Look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
Well, our US correspondent Greg Milam joins us now from Atlanta, Georgia. So, Greg, tell us more. What else did the president say then in this call?
Well, there was quite a lot. It went on for an hour, that call on Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. And a lot of the themes were pretty familiar, the things Donald Trump's been talking about since the election in November, that he actually won, that there was widespread fraud, although, as we know, there's been no proof of that widespread fraud. But what was most surprising was how blatant what we just heard was, calling on the Secretary of State of Georgia, who is a Republican, remember, to find just enough votes to take him past Joe Biden, to explain that away to the American people as saying there had been a recalculation, threatening some kind of vague legal action against the Secretary of State if that didn't happen. So remarkable to hear all of that, and a real glimpse into Donald Trump's mindset, even now, 2 weeks away from the inauguration of Joe Biden, that he is still pushing this and believes it can be overturned. Now, the Secretary of State stood firm, said there wasn't any evidence to back up any of what Donald Trump was saying, even when Donald Trump brought up a debunked conspiracy theory about Dominion. Now, they make the voting machines. There's been this theory that machines have moved around in a shady fashion. He brought that up, and the other official on the call responded. Here's that moment from the call.
Dominion is really moving fast to get rid of their machinery. Do you know anything about that? Because that's illegal.
This is Ryan, Germany. No, Dominion has not moved any machinery out of Fulton County. We're having.
Well, but have they moved? Have they moved the inner parts of the machines and replaced them with other parts?
No.
You sure, Ryan?
I'm sure.
Now, at the end of that hour-long call, Donald Trump seemed to realise he wasn't getting anywhere. In fact, he said that this call is going nowhere. And while it might not make any difference to that election that happened in November, it might have an impact on what's happening here in Georgia this week. There is a runoff election for 2 seats in the U.S. Senate that, if Democrats win them, would effectively give them control of the upper house, the Senate in Washington, and give Joe Biden much more power in what he's able to do as president. And Republicans here in Georgia are very worried that every time Donald Trump says the election is rigged, it's not worth any of the paper it was written on, it means some Republicans think, well, it's not worth going out to vote. And if they do that here this week in Georgia, it could hand those Senate seats to the Democrats. And Donald Trump has said he will talk about this more when he comes to Georgia tomorrow to rally for those Senate seats. So it's not going away, and that is a concern for Republicans.
We now get into sports news. And in sports news, the Zambia national soccer team has lost by 2-0 to Uganda in the ongoing pre-CHAN tournament in Cameroon. The 2 goals comes through Oveana Seskajugo in the 24th minute, Stephen Mwakwala's 62 strike. Zambia's next fixture is against the host Cameroon on Thursday. On Saturday, Zambia drew 3-0 with Niger, while the Cranes drew 1-0 with Cameroon. Zambia is in Cameroon for the CHAN tournament, which kicks off on January 16th, with Zambia in Group D alongside Tanzania, Namibia and Guinea. And still in sports news, the Zambia Super League will return this weekend after a 2 weeks break, with 9 mouth-watering matches expected to take center stage around the country. Log leaders will be away in Lusaka to CAF Confederation Cup representatives, NAPSA Stars, while the Whipping Boys boys of the 2020-2021 season, Kitwe United will face off with titles contenders Fole Malembe on Sunday. This week will, however, start off with a Friday clash in Kawe as Kawe Warriors host sensational Zanaco in a crucial encounter. The Kitwe derby is also on this weekend, but with Power Dynamos only having 4 players in the Chan team is likely to be postponed. On Saturday, there will be a double header as Buildcon host Red Arrows in an early kickoff, while Zanaco United faces off the high-flying Kwazi. The story is courtesy of Zamfoot Sports. That sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. Street vendors remain untouched while government continues to preach about social distancing in the view of COVID-19. Teacher union opposed to government's preposition of halting teacher training due to lack of job opportunities. 28 lives lost during the New Year's holiday. In international news, Trump tells Georgia election official to find votes to overturn Biden win. And in sports news, MTN Far Super League to resume this weekend. The Camnet Word verse of the day is coming from the book of Matthew 4 verse 4, and it reads, "But he answered, it is written, man must not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.